The fourth big mindset problem I want to tackle is the common fallacy that we have, that we have to come up with something big for us to produce a transformation. I was always curious about why do many of us think like that. It is entirely possible that the majority of the stories we have heard about breakthrough innovations and inventions like Einstein, the Wright brothers, and many such examples might have conditioned us to believe this. But then I was researching, and in the year 2010, I came across a brilliant article written by Dan Pink, one of my favorite authors, called What Kind of Genius Are You in the Wired magazine. In that, Dan Pink talks about a research done by David Gallanson of the University of Chicago. David looked at artists, primarily the field of art, and concluded that there are two kinds of innovators, which he called the two archetypes. One kind he calls the conceptual innovators. They make a leap of intuition and then create a new or a revolutionary way. And the example he gives is of Pablo Picasso and his revolutionary art form of cubism. The other kind he calls as the experimental innovator. These people tinker with stuff, take a long time, and then hit their breakthrough idea. And the example he gives is Cezanne, another master painter. Cezanne studied other painters, looked at the physics of light, reflection, colors, and then came up with his own form and also became a master painter. Now, Gallanson has also made some connections to age, which I am not quite able to agree with. So, I believe that these are the two kinds, and the bias is that we tend to think of conceptual innovators. In the technology, that is why we think we need to have something big. In the technology world, let me take the example of Larry Page and the Google's initial search engine. When we write scientific papers, and we have been doing this for a long time as a community, in each paper you cite the other papers that you have referenced in your paper. Now, the more citations a paper receives, the more valuable that paper is. Larry Page took this idea and connected it to web pages. Namely, the more incoming links a web page has, the more valuable it is. This proved to be a breakthrough technology for web search engines, and the rest is history. So Larry Page, I can say, is a conceptual innovator. Now let's look at Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg. I would say he was more of an experimental innovator. Story goes that he first built a site to rate the girls on the Harvard campus and then later morphed it to Facebook. And from the Harvard campus, he rolled it out to other campuses, quietly tweaking the software and rolling it across the world. Now, the major innovation that they did of the news feed, I believe, was inspired by Twitter's activity stream, which came up in 2006. Now, the initial reaction from Facebook users to the news feed was not very positive, but then Zuckerberg persisted with it. And it proved to be a breakthrough in the world of social networking. So, we do have these two kinds, conceptual and experimental. Now, in the next episode, we will look at the science behind these two types of innovations.